When President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga entered into the handshake in March 2018, there is one important thing which they promised to do, but they never did it. And it got Raila Odinga supporters worried. President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga were supposed to embark on a nationwide tour to popularize the handshake. As fate would have it, Raila Odinga successfully managed to take President Uhuru Kenyatta to former NASA strongholds. And you saw how the president was received in Kisumu, received in Kakamega, received in Mombasa. But President Uhuru Kenyatta never took Raila Odinga to the mountain. And Raila Odinga supporters started worrying and wondering whether President Uhuru Kenyatta just wanted to ensure that his second term was smooth without any noise, and that later on he was going to support William Samoei Arap Ruto. But when it became very clear later that President Uhuru Kenyatta was actually serious with supporting Raila Odinga, and when it became clear that the fallout between the president and his deputy could not be reconciled, most Raila Odinga supporters still wondered why the president was not taking Raila Odinga to the mountain. Because for Raila Odinga, he needed the support of the mountain badly. Because remember, when he entered into the handshake, some of his supporters never followed him. And William Ruto was also determined to retain the mountain, because without Mount Kenya, there was no way William Ruto would become the president of the Republic of Kenya. So Raila Odinga supporters were really worried. In this video, I want us to look at the new development where President Uhuru Kenyatta has finally embarked on campaigning for Raila Odinga. And he has kicked off that campaign, and Kanzedena confirmed that indeed President Uhuru Kenyatta is going to embark on a campaign tour under development projects in the mountain. So I want us to look into that new development. But before we do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, I want you guys to take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, let us get back to business. And I just want to ask for a single favor. Please give this video a thumbs up. Just click that thumbs up now. That's the best way you can support the channel. Now, let us get back to the main issue. And I want to look at it from two perspectives. The first issue which I want us to look at is why President Uhuru Kenyatta delayed taking Raila Odinga to the mountain. Because most people believe that because the president delayed, that's why William Ruto entrenched himself, and that's why he's finding it hard taking Raila Odinga down there. And the second thing I want us to look at is the game plan. Why is President Uhuru Kenyatta taking Raila Odinga to the mountain right now? Let us begin by looking at why that trip delayed. Number one, I think the ground. The truth of the matter is that 2017 general election was bitterly contested. President Uhuru Kenyatta used the Cambridge Analytica to instill fear into his supporters and portrayed Raila Odinga as a very dangerous man. In fact, ODM, they used to call ODM one dangerous man. On the other side, Raila Odinga supporters believed that President Uhuru Kenyatta had robbed them of their victory. They were very bitter because they had suffered a lot, the police brutality and the rest. For President Uhuru Kenyatta, it was easy to be introduced in the former NASA stronghold. But in the mountain, it was difficult because because William Ruto had actually decided that he was not going to let the mountain slip. So the ground was hostile, and because of the ground hostility, President Uhuru Kenyatta could not take Raila Odinga to the mountain. Number two, I also tend to think that the president understood the art of timing. That in politics, timing is key. Probably if the president had gone ahead and introduced Raila Amolo Odinga to the mountain at that particular time and campaigned for him, probably they would have lost momentum. And because the time was not ready, this is the moment. Remember, after nominating Martha Karua, the intelligence advised Raila Amolo Odinga not to accompany Martha Karua to the mountain, because accompanying Martha Karua to the mountain was going to hurt them. They wanted a case where Martha Karua would go to the mountain, then being received and then compared to Rigathi Gachagua. If Raila Odinga had accompanied her, for example, it would have been easier to hit on Raila Odinga, and Martha Karua's presence would not have been seen. So the art of timing is what the president perfected. So this is now the right moment. That's why the president delayed it at that time. Number 3, I think President Uhuru Kenyatta, being a shrewd politician, then decided that there was no need of taking Raila Odinga to the mountain because so many people had expressed interest in the running mate. So the running mate was going to choose to come from either the Meru region, Peter Munya, or someone else, or from the Kikuyu nation. Talk of Peter Kenneth, talk of Mutai Kagwe. Those people whose names were being mentioned. Maybe the president also thought that because he was determined in locking out his deputy, he wanted to monitor the reaction from other parts of the country. Like if the country, our ODM supporters, or Raila Odinga supporters, were still comfortable with someone like Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka as Raila Odinga's running mate. So he wanted the issue of the running mate to be sorted. And when Martha Karua was identified and the ground accepted, I think President Uhuru Kenyatta has now realized that this is the time to take Martha Karua. And then I think the president also wanted to monitor the moves by the deputy president. You know, sometimes when you are in a political war, you must wait for your opponents to move. So I think as things stand today, William Ruto has almost exhausted all his strategies for the mountain. In fact, he's giving up. If it's about unveiling a running mate, he has already chosen. If it's about having members of parliament, all of them are now with him. If it's about money politics, he has used all those. So the president was still monitoring this guy. Who is he talking to? Who are his key point person? So the deputy president has now exhausted all his moves. Now the president is now going to the mountain to address his people. And lastly, I think President Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to consolidate his support base for Raila Amolo Odinga towards the end of his term. Whether he's going to succeed or not is something which I can't tell. But for those who've been following President Uhuru Kenyatta, something has been very clear and consistent. The first thing which has been very clear for President Uhuru Kenyatta is that the president prefers using the elders or proxies to fight his wars in the mountain. The Kikuyu elders are now fully behind President Uhuru Kenyatta, apart from his cousin. So whether these elders will be able to persuade the mountain to vote in favor of Raila Odinga is something which we still can't tell, but we'll have to wait. The second constant thing which the president has always used is vernacular. Whenever the president wants to address the Kikuyu nation, he would always switch to vernacular. And his delivery has always been sterling. So in my view, the president tour of the mountain, in my view, beginning next week, will be in vernacular. And lastly, Jubilee. The truth of the matter is that President Uhuru Kenyatta stuck with his Jubilee. He identified candidates. Most of those candidates are doing so well on the ground. So I think the president just wants to go to the ground to firm up support for the Jubilee. But what is President Uhuru Kenyatta's general game plan? Why is he taking Raila Amolo Odinga to the mountain? Number one, in my view, is the development projects. One of the things which President Uhuru Kenyatta believes he has done is that he has outperformed even Mwai Kibaki. Mwai Kibaki is remembered for Thika Superhighway. Uhuru Kenyatta believes that what he has done to the mountain, no any other president has ever done. But because of politics and because of negative propaganda, William Ruto and his brigades projected President Uhuru Kenyatta as a failed project. In fact, if you listen to Rigathi Gachagua and you are coming from Mass today, you'll believe that President Uhuru Kenyatta has actually done zero work for the mountain. while in real sense he has done a lot of work. So the president will be explaining to his people what he has achieved for them. Remember William Ruto, and that's why I talked of president mastering the art of timing. William Ruto and his allies started attacking President Uhuru Kenyatta over performance early enough. And because they did that, President Uhuru Kenyatta went back, consolidated himself, then focused on those development projects. And most of those development projects have not been completed. It's now for the time for the president to unveil them. William Ruto had hoped that he was going to ride on most of these development projects. The moment he talked of President Uhuru Kenyatta as having failed, it means now the president will be able to go to the mountain and tell his people, I've done this, and I've done that, without the deputy president. When we were with him, we could not achieve this. So I think the president is keen on ensuring that his legacy projects is well secured so that nobody will come and claim that President Uhuru Kenyatta did nothing. That's number one. Number two, I think the other objective for this particular trip is why Raila Odinga. And that is what is worrying William Ruto and his brigades. President Uhuru Kenyatta went out of his way and endorsed Raila Odinga. Again, went out of his way and chose Martha Karua. So the president will be able to explain to the mountain why Raila Odinga and why Martha Karua. And you could get a glimpse of that strategy when he talked of Martha Karua being able to jail people. The truth of the matter is that Raila Karua ticket will be projected as a reform ticket. Uhuru was clear that Martha Karua can actually take care of the interest of the mountain. And that is something which I'm sure will be coming out clearly during the tour of the mountain next week. Martha Karua, why Martha Karua and why Raila Odinga is going to explain to his supporters. Number three, I think the game plan is last minute persuasion. I think Uhuru Kenyatta decided that the best time to persuade the mountain is last minute. Because there's always this narrative that you can always rent a Kikuyu, but you cannot buy a Kikuyu. So most of Kikuyu leaders and supporters who are with Ruto were actually rented. And now is the time for them to go home. So the president is going to use that last minute persuasion to try and persuade them. The undecided. Remember, when Raila nominated Rigathi Gachagua and Ruto nominated, when Raila nominated Martha Karua and Ruto nominated Gachagua, majority of people who had decided to support William Ruto then decided to come and they became undecided. Last minute move by the president is actually meant to persuade those undecided to finally join the president's side. And that's what the president will be doing. Number four, in my view, I think President Uhuru Kenyatta is also keen on winning majority seats in the mountain. The truth of the matter is that Uhuru Kenyatta has a strategy of probably determining even the 2027 general election. He can only do that if he's successful with his party. Jubilee Party remained a shell. But the truth of the matter is that President Uhuru Kenyatta has a strategy where he's hoping to get majority, some members of parliament here and there on Jubilee ticket in the mountain. He knows he's going to get some in Isiolo, Northeastern. Then with those numbers, he can be able to pursue certain political interest. For example, the BBI, which will come up, I know. If there's anything they want to do with those members of parliament, then the president will be able, then in the future, he might also make maybe strategy come back into politics. And lastly, I think this event is meant to introduce Martha Karua to the mountain. Martha Karua is going to be introduced to the voters of the mountain by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Since her nomination, President Uhuru Kenyatta has never introduced Martha Karua to the people of the mountain. Why Martha Karua? So I think next week will be that moment for the president. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day. Bye-bye.